Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Comicsgate art stream. Hope you guys are doing all right. I hope you're staying woke, which is what this is all about. I am now on page 5 of Englewood, panel 2. Feels good. Currently brewing up a pot of coffee and getting ready more or less for ICMI. Getting ready to do a show a little later today with one Philip Tanzer, also known as Logan McCree. I've had him on the show before. It's going to be today's fireside chat / the Weekend Men's Rights, you could say. So very busy today. Got a lot going on. This is going to be, it's going to be a crazy week before an even crazier week. So, hope you guys are doing okay. But I don't want to be woke. Being woke is worse than lifting without a break. Do you think what's the is woke just like a feminist SJW thing? Or do you think that you know, like MRAs can be woke? Or do you think that we call it based and red pilled instead? Do you think those are two separate things? Like if someone is based and red pilled versus somebody being woke? I treat them as two separate things personally. Sometimes I'll say someone is woke on a given issue, but I want to get back into the habit of calling them based and red pilled. If that's I just think that's funnier. All right. The regressive left agrees. They call it wokeness fatigue, too much emotional labor. You can't stay woke all night. You need some sleep every so often. Body can't run on all that woke. It's just gonna put you under. Woke is denying reality. Based is the opposite. Ah, okay. That makes sense. These are two separate things. Okay. I just wanted to know how you guys use it. If you treat it like two separate things, then that's cool. But anyway, so yeah, working on this today, and I hope that you know, you guys support Englewood. I'd like to be my job. I think it'd be amazing to do this. I mean, not just Englewood, but like I'm gonna go back to working on Bombshell as soon as I'm done with this. I literally have one more page to do on that before I need to like set up my Indiegogo. So it's a gamble. It's a gamble, but life is a gamble, is it not? So that is why you have come. Being woke is not very far removed from being in a cult. Individual thoughts are not allowed. You must conform to the hive mind or you get excommunicated. The ability to agree to disagree has been lost / murdered. Yeah. Well, I think we need someone to make a pop song that has stay based in it, in the title or in the chorus. All right. So, like, I watched Avengers Endgame the other day with my friend was visiting, and that movie is worse than I remember. I'm not gonna say it's a terrible movie, but the problems are big problems, and there are plot problems, but I think most of it comes down to like political problems. Wow, they are glaring. Like that was the death knell of the MCU for sure. They're not gonna recover. Well, they're gonna make some money for a while, but when they reveal, you know, that like the Black Widow movie is supposed to be political, I mean, people are acting surprised. I don't see why. I'm sorry, but if it's got a woman in it, you better expect some politics. If there's a woman in the movie, it's going to be political. That's it. That's the way it goes. This is just the reality. I mean, there's almost no way for them not to do that. Because, you know, so, yeah. The director coming out and saying, I'm not going to use canon if it's going to make her less than ultimately empowered. Or that just tells you everything that you need to know about her and the direction. It doesn't matter. It's over. Bro, it's over. All right. Brian, how do I find those virtual tickets? I'm trying to get my friend to learn the truth. The virtual tickets, I imagine they would be on, they're not on the icmi.info website? ScarJo could save Black Widow by declining to do the role of the movie. If the movie is woke, I think you mean to say. Let me know if I'm wrong. Yeah, except that would assume that Black Widow is not a little bit woke herself. Again, I think that's a mistake. I think that just because she hasn't like come out like Brie Larson and been really annoying, that doesn't mean that Scarlett Johansson is not like, you know, doesn't agree with that shit. She just might be less crazy than, like, say, Brie Larson or Kathleen Kennedy or, you know, whoever they... Kelly Sue DeConnick, the woman who was a writer for Captain Marvel that made a cameo in the film and also just, you know, single-handedly ruined the character of Carol Danvers, who was fine before. I mean, she may not be as psycho as them, but that doesn't mean that she's not also woke. So you have to... I mean, we don't know for sure yet, but we will as that movie comes closer. We'll find out. All right. From the depths of the brony fandom, I have returned. Yikes. There we go. Hey Shaman King, welcome to the show. There we go. Smash like. Thank you, Jimmy Stiff Fingers. Please be sure to do that. So you guys hear Blair White is supposed to be debating against Jessica Yaniv. I don't know what it's going to be about. But it should be, I'm Like Chan, please smash. How come no one's made Like Chan yet? Oh man, I'm making Like Chan. That. I said Blair should call FBI during the stream. I'd smash Like Chan. Ooh woo. Yeah, don't let me forget that. I'm gonna mess around and make a Like Chan. I think that's a great idea. There you go. I'll go get my coffee in a second here. At least it's something. What's with Blair White? Yeah. Jessica Yaniv is the trans person who insisted on having her balls waxed. And the beauty salon wouldn't do it, or whatever it was. And then on top of that, it was revealed that she was sending like creepy, weird DMs to people asking about young girls and their, oh, it's just, I don't know what to say, except that holy shit, it was bad. But yeah. She appeared on Alex Jones. Do you guys know that? Jessica Yaniv was on Alex Jones. Doesn't appear to be have a problem with making appearances on, you know, kind of right-wing, I guess, or non-left platforms. Oops, waiting for this. Okay. There's that. All right, this panel is almost done. It's gonna draw the wind. I saw a bit of that video. Ew, poor Alex. Finally, some good food after 5 days of scrounging around the convention center area. Wait, are you at a convention? Just zoom in here. I'm sorry, guys. See. All right. There we go. It's coming out that JY, Jessica and Eve, actually selectively sought out the salons that did not cater to men. The expert in male waxing said that some males become aroused during the process. Gross. Ah, fucking... Why? We are straying further away from God's light every day. I'm not even a religious guy, man, but when I hear this stuff, it's like, oh man, is there something to it? Okay, so there's that. That's panel number 2. So let's come down here and draw panel number 3. Punch right to the eye. Hopefully it won't be a problem, because I have a show and it might be a conflict. So I hope it's not, but you know, you just don't know with this stuff. You just don't know. All right, so let's what's this? Is that the hit? Let's move this down here. So that's there, and these two are here. All right. So let me lower the opacity on that and this. And I'm gonna go get a coffee and I'll be right back and I'll start on this bit. All right, I'm back. Let me see what you guys are saying before I get into this. Shaman King says, I completely complugged from all this stuff for 5 days just so I can focus on one thing, ponies. Okay, I kiss BBWs. He's talking to somebody else. How do you reduce your news intake? I need advice. What do you mean? So you're not exposed to it all the time? You need to like get out of the house. Go for a walk. I take JoJo for a walk like twice a day. I get out of the house. I sink in myself into these comics, you know? I know that what I'm doing is something that people want. People like stories. People love stories. And I think that that's what this is, right? This is like stories. It's not politics. It's not news. It's not all this negativity. It's not nihilism. It's not even complete escapism. I know that people say that, you know, escapism is important. I think that to a degree, stories like this, fiction, they can be escapist. But like, they're not just escapism for escapism's sake, so much that they are a desire for people to understand. They want to see something that's true in a way, you know? They don't just want mindless distractions. I mean, I think that people can, but I don't know that it's sustainable. Like, people like won't just get bored and lose interest. Like, look at Robot Chicken. I used to like that show. And it's, I don't know, is it even still on? It was nothing but ADHD for like 15 minutes. And they couldn't do it longer than 15 minutes. Because then people wanted a narrative, you know? They wanted something cohesive. They wanted to say something. It couldn't do that. It was just like, I mean, it was fun, but it wasn't sustainable for longer than 15 minutes. And I don't see how it could have been longer. I know that they've tried, like they've done like Star Wars specials and stuff, and I don't want to get too caught up in this, but my point is that stories are not just distractions. It's like, I was talking to my wife about this yesterday. And one of the things that I was sort of like, you know, recognizing, I've seen about these last couple shootings, these mass shootings, El Paso, California, Ohio. And one of the things I was thinking about was that I think that people have been lied to about what's important. And I did see somebody made a comment about religion. Yeah, Zering says, when I heard Sargon make a reference to maybe needing religion, I think I heard an angle to get their wings. They said miracles would never happen. What I'm thinking about is that if you look at what people are talking about right now, what they want, and especially this is coming from the left especially, but not exclusively. It's all about happiness. People are trying to find ways to be happy. They want, you know, they want their life to be comfortable for them. They want to be able to do whatever they want. All bets are off, right? That's what they want. Complete freedom to be happy. But I don't think, maybe happiness isn't important. Maybe meaning is more important. And that doesn't mean I don't like being happy. I do, obviously. But like, you know, I think meaning is actually, like, happiness can only go so far. Like, say I have a friend who, he's a really nostalgic type. And he's always like, you know, his day, whether it's going well or not, could depend on, you know, whether or not he heard a song that he remembers from his childhood. Or, you know, and nostalgia is very powerful. But it's also really dangerous. Because people who are focused on the past don't look towards the future. And I'm not just saying that to like try to sound smart. It's a kind of an obvious thing to me. Um, and I think that what the point of that is to say that, yeah, you can probably find things that remind you of your childhood, of simpler times, you know, when you had like fewer worries and all that. But those things are fleeting, and they're not actually, like, they'll give you happiness for a little while. You know, that song that you remember from the 80s or the 90s, depending on, you know, how old you are. Or that game that you used to play that they, you know, brought back, or whatever, you know, that food that you used to like, whatever it is that you're nostalgic for. But the moment the song ends, or the food is finished, or you've, you know, played the game for a while, or you've watched that old movie, or that old TV show, now it's like a sugar rush. You come down from it and you're like, well, I need more of this, right? But you're not addressing the human problem, which is you're craving something simple because you don't want to deal with the present. And in a way, that's cowardice, and it keeps you from making your life better, because you're addicted to being a kid again, returning to the womb, being protected, whatever. And it gives you happiness, but it doesn't give you any meaning. I don't think that happiness is as important. I mean, we want to be happy, but I think it's more important that we're like self-actualized, in my opinion. There are higher callings than personal gratification. Yeah. And they're risky, you know, and they're scary. And like, so people want to retreat to the safety of their memories, their safety of their childhood, or just like retreat into escapism. And I get it. Like, you get, you know, if you have a long day and you just want to like unwind, like I'm the first one that'll be like, I'm gonna boot up, you know, a video game and I'm gonna unwind with it. But I recognize that while I'm doing that, I'm abandoning productivity, right? So I gotta balance that out. I got to, like, over the weekend, I try not to work on HBR stuff, although sometimes I have to. But I think that if I don't, I'll just burn myself out, and I don't want to do that. So like over the weekend, I chilled out. I spent time with my wife, and you know, we did activities together, went for long walks, got out of the house. But I was getting anxious because I was worried that I wasn't being productive. And so I was still productive. Now, I wasn't doing HBR stuff, but you know, I was like doing maintenance around the house. I worked on some Englewood stuff. I took the dogs to the dog park, so that they can get their exercise. I ran some errands, and I felt really good about that afterwards. And maybe I'm just a weirdo, but like, you know, when I'm done with this, I'm gonna organize. I'm gonna set up the next stream for my show. I'm gonna talk to Allison. I'm gonna do the dishes, and I'm gonna feel good about that. You know, I'm gonna feel productive. And I think that those things are important. And it's really easy, like, once you start, you know, like on that path of like, you know, being productive in your everyday life, even if it doesn't have to be anything big, just a small thing, you know, then everything else just kind of like, I don't know, it becomes really easy to do. It just becomes really easy to do. And it does make you feel good. And it's not like that's the reason why you do it. Like, I'm going to do this because I want to feel good. That's more like the happiness thing, you know. It's like somebody's just like, oh, I'm going to drink soda because I like the taste. Or whatever it is. You know, I'm going to eat this thing that's bad for me, these sweets or whatever. those things, they're fleeting. So like the moment you finish, you feel guilty if it's something that's unhealthy that you've eaten. Or the sugar rush ends and you crash. You know? It's not like when you finish doing something productive that you feel good about. I think that with all of these shooters, there is... I mean, we're going to get into it on the show, so I'm not going to talk about it for too long here, but there is definitely men that don't have meaning, aside from the fact that they're being attacked and demonized. And I think that that's another part of it too. This is why you got people from supposedly that are, you know, white nationalists as well as Antifa that are lashing out, because they're all men. They're all men. And men need meaning. And women need meaning too. This is why they're getting depressed. I mean, they just, you know, they're not getting what they need. And I think it's because we have this problem where we think happiness. If people just had happiness, they'd be fine. There'd be no problems. No, that's not true. If people don't have something to live for, if they don't feel like there are people counting on them for something bigger than themselves, then they're not going to be happy. It doesn't end just because you're like getting your way, which is what people think happiness is. Whew. Why are the media outlets trying to tie the shooter to 8chan? Because they don't want to find the truth. They want to they want to make a narrative out of everything. The difference is that of short-term gratification versus long-term fulfillment. Yeah. Let me save where I'm at right here. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. Too many people seem to think that happiness doesn't come with responsibility. Well, no, they don't, because they want only short term. That's what, when people talk about happiness, they're never talking about long-term happiness that you have to work for, because that's gratifying, that's satisfying, right? That's fulfilling, because you can say, I did that, and you know what it took to get there, and that makes it even more fulfilling. But no, they don't like that. They want now shit. They want like the immediate gratification. You know, they get mad because it took 20 minutes to download a, you know, 50 gigabyte video game. That's different. That's a spoiled generation. And I think that's one of the big problems, you know, is that we do live in a time of where people are pretty spoiled. Anyway, my happiness comes from my paychecks, from me busting my ass. Yeah. So anyway, long-term happiness does require responsibility and accountability, because you have to invest time and effort, and you have to like do it on your own. You have to, like, you know, self-motivate. And I think that that's the problem, man. You know, people they don't want to do that. That's a lot of work for them. They're lazy. And I get it. I'm not saying I'm an angel. You know, I have my moments where I feel lazy too. pow. Okay, that's the eyebrow up there. Anyway, yeah, so to the comment about religion, I mean, I'm not a religious person, but I have a hard time not not buying that, if that makes any sense. Although I think that what is needed, at the very least, is meaning. And I think that religion gives people that, especially young men, gives them purpose. And I think that's what they need. So, I don't know, man. I think the happiness thing by itself, it's not enough. I wanted to put a tear in his eye, but I think that I've done enough with that there. So, I'm going to zoom out and put the lines in. He's a lot smaller. Still couldn't get the fucking perspective tool to work. Perspective ruler kind of bums me out because it does look really cool. Okay, let's see. Pow! That's a pow right there. Because 8chan is uncensored and allows all viewpoints, even criminal ideas. 20 minutes per 50 gigabytes. It's a bloody fast connection. Must be on a trunk line and paying a mint for it too. Okay, well, I don't know. But I mean, like, fiber is pretty common. Mine is like 1 gig. Every... Well, I have a 1 gig download and upload speed, almost. It's very close to 1 gig. It's like, it's supposed to be a gig, but it's not always running that fast. And that's just fiber, and it's not expensive either. So that's why I was like, makes sense to me. All right, so we're gonna get rid of this and this, and we're gonna go to this layer and lower the opacity on it, and I'm gonna draw it in on another layer by itself, and then this one will be done as well. Don't worry, I'm gonna erase the overlapping lines. I just wanted to make sure that I have it drawn in correctly first. Look at all these TPs. Bye-bye, BronyCon. You'll be missed. Did you see Chris Chan? He was supposed to be there. I don't know what you guys are talking about. All right. So, now we erase. Perfect. What time is it? 12:49. I might have time to start the next image. It's good. I'm making good time here. I'm making good time. This is what I wanted to do. I wanted to get this done. Because like next week, it's going to be really hard for me to do any work on this. Because of the ICMI, you know? There we go. Looks good. Just checking. All right. Here we go. Now, let's see. I'm going to take this, turn it off, and that panel's done. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we're doing this one. I might change the mouth a little bit. It's a little too cartoony, but... But yeah, I do like it. I do like this. This panel is one of my favorites. Just a moment. Okay. Come on. Alright, there we go. Alright, so I'm going to turn this off because I don't need that right now. What's on this layer? Is there anything on this layer? No. Oh, I can use this for my drawing layer then. There's that. Okay. So we're going to lower the opacity on this. I only got a little bit of time, so I'm not going to rush it, but... Zoom in here. I'll start with Elijah since he's in the foreground. There we go. How much would it take for you Badgers to watch Netflix's She-Ra show? Well, I think Allison was watching it for a while, but she didn't talk about. I mean, she's been so busy with the ICMI, she hadn't been able to talk about it. I have no interest, but I guess if you guys paid me, I'd watch it. That's the only way, though. I'm telling you right now. I heard something going on with Netflix. I know they lost money, but word is they might be like getting rid of some of their shows or canceling the women. I don't know. Canceling women on their shows. I don't suspect that they would do that because of their ideological bias, but I'd be interested to see what they do. Really? Oh, thanks. Oh, those are flyers. Okay. Brian, the magnitude of lazy artistry in season 1 would drive you mad. Yeah, I don't know. How do you cancel women? I don't know. Clownfish TV had a video, but I didn't watch it. Speaking of Netflix, has anyone watched the Saint Seiya series? Nah. Oh, by the way, I'm thinking about getting Doom 2016 to play after I'm done with woke-ass Detroit Become Human. It's only $15 right now on sale on the PlayStation Network. And I know that they're gearing up for the release of Doom Eternal, but that game's not coming out for till like November or something. So, what do you guys think about Doom, the Doom remake, or I don't know if it was a remake, but the Doom game that came out in 2016? Is that a good game? Would you recommend it? I don't know anything about. I played the demo and it was really short. It was actually more like a beta. So I'm not really sure, about it. That'll be my last question because I gotta go here in a few minutes, couple minutes. I'm just gonna try to make this work. Fucking Toby is whining. Doom 2016 is good. Okay. Detroit Become Human wasn't that bad. I don't know, man. I'm not. I mean, look. It's got some moments in it that I thought were interesting in terms of how they put it together. Personally, I like Heavy Rain the most of everything that they've made so far. But honestly, I haven't finished Detroit Become Human, so maybe I'm, wrong. But for what they were trying to say, it doesn't make any sense. And when your game is like really story-based, like heavily story-based, then what you're trying to say in the story had better be good. Like, I can forgive Dark Souls having a mostly incoherent story unless you're like, like reading every item description and like really like getting into it. I can forgive them because the game is fun and I got the gist of what I'm supposed to be doing. But when something is almost all story and hardly any gameplay, it's just like a series of quick time events, the story better be damn good. And the story for Detroit Become Human, it doesn't make a lot of sense in a lot of ways. So, Oh, and Heavy Rain is supposed to come to PC. Finally, now I just need the first Red Dead Redemption. Well, I hope you're ready to press X to Jason. Alright. Slavery is bad. Applause. Yeah. The most powerful, most perfect, best looking, most affluent, unkillable, immortal creatures or characters in the whole game are also the victims. And I'm sorry, I can't have empathy for something that I know was built by humans and is a machine. Just like I can't have empathy for a fucking toaster. You know? Or a microwave. You can't just make that happen. And I think that David Cage believes that because they look human, then all of a sudden it becomes a conversation about whether or not they are human. But I don't know. I haven't beat the game yet, so maybe I don't want to get ahead of myself here. Wait, ain't Detroit Become Human kind of like that show Humans that you Badgers reviewed in your Nerdcast? Yes. Yes. I like classic Doom and classic FPS games more than new Doom, but I'm 30 plus years old boomer drinking Monster Energy. Don't listen to me. Alright, so I'm just gonna finish this leg. I'm gonna be a little bit late in quitting, but I think there's like one more song playing, I think, before this other thing ends anyway, so. There we go. I'm going to close all these lines because I'm going to need them for something, and then I'll go and erase them out later. There we go. All right, I think that's it. Yep, he's in there. So I'm gonna call it here. Let me just pull out so you guys can see the page I've done. Save where I'm at. Save it. And I gotta go, so I want to thank you guys for coming on the Comicsgate art stream. Please hit the like button. It really shows, you know, that you guys are enjoying the content. Also, it does a little bit for my analytics. Maybe other people will see the stream. I know I've had other people pop on and see what I was up to. So please do that. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Hit the bell for notifications. And leave me a comment. I do try to look at the comments, and I enjoy when you guys like chime in on stuff. So with that said, I'll read the last of your comments here, and then I'll go ahead and close it out. So Zenman says Doom is good. Zarank says, oh, and Heavy Rain is supposed to be... Oh, I already read that bit. Tyler Preston, yep, I already talked about that. Tyler Preston says slavery is bad. Okay, yeah. Zarank says none of those androids had the character of Kit. No. Zenman, or the, you know, Vicky from Small Wonder. Zenman says you can't have empathy for a toaster, you monster. No, I don't even have a toaster. That's how little empathy I have for them. Ken says, it's like the patriarchy, Brian. Even if you're affluent or beautiful or super strong with absolutely no problems, it doesn't mean you aren't cripplingly oppressed. Supposedly, yeah. Tyler Preston says, you sexually objectifying that dildo, you rapist. Yeah. No, women can't sexually objectify dildos. Come on. That's pocket pussy, though. That's a problem. Sex robots? That's a problem. All right. Well, anyway. With that said, I am going to get out of here. Thanks again, guys, for coming on. And I'll talk to you later. Have a good afternoon, everybody.